Welcome back to the greenhouse. It's another rainy day in Oregon, so I'm in here getting some projects done. Thought I would bring you along. Today's project is Sprouting Ranunculus for spring growing. So I have them all set up here. I'm going to show you what they look like, how they start out, and then that way later in the spring we can check back and show you what they become. So ranunculus are a beautiful spring flower that are grown from little tuberous roots. So they look like this, kind of like a little octopus. This is a single clump of tubers. These have been hydrated overnight just by soaking them in water. I also add a little bit of biological fungicide to the water. So I was using actinidate, which is what I have here, just to help them kind of get through any disease fungus issues that they might have. So I've got these tubers all soaked and ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to pre-sprout them. You can see all the flats behind me are already planted with the roots. And I'm essentially just going to take them and plant them in here kind of like I would if this were, say, a plug tray. But I want to have them have an opportunity to sprout and grow their roots out before we transplant them into the greenhouse where they're going to grow on. These particular ones we saved over from the past, so you can see that some of them are in little clumps, and they're pretty easy to break apart, just gently kind of shaking them back and forth to make 2 out of 1. So I get a little bit of extra tubers out of that. So I'm going to plant these flats, and then I'll show you what that looks like when they're all done. This is a flat fully planted, so there are about 40 little tubers in here. I'm just kind of trimming off the tops more for my own aesthetic than anything. They're fine the way they are. And then I'm just going to come and top coat them with some soil, making sure to cover up all of the roots, making sure that they're tucked in there nicely. These are going to live on in this house, which holds at about 50 to 55 degrees, and it's going to allow them to root out. They're not going to put on very much top growth. What we're actually looking for is for them to root nicely down in before we plant them into the high tunnels. So these flats make for really easy checking on that because they have a mesh bottom. If you look underneath, they've got just a really nice mesh bottom, which allows us to check the roots throughout their growth. Once they have a really nice root system, we'll take them and then we'll essentially kind of tease them apart the same way we were teasing the actual tubers apart. We'll tease the plants apart gently and we'll plant them in the hoop house. We'll give us a little bit of a jump start before we put them into the greenhouses, and then we'll have them beautiful and ready for late spring flowers. Thanks for swinging by. We'll see you next time.